Welcome to a new video, guys. It's Saturday evening, a beautiful evening, and I'm out rucking. So, got the dog, and I've got in my rucksack an additional 10 kilo plate, and basically, yeah, I started a couple of weeks ago, and I just thought this is a good way to get an extra sort of fairly low intensity session in to end off the week, but also something that I'm able to progress and that could have some carryover to building muscle. I know like army guys and stuff like that do it. I've seen a bit on TikTok about it, so I thought I'd give it a try, and yeah, it's quite fun. As you can tell, I'm quite out of breath. I've been going about probably 20 minutes or so at pretty brisk pace. Obviously, like that, and I take the dog out once or twice a day every day. So like the actual walking is not an issue for me, but the extra 10 kilos is definitely making a difference in terms of giving my lungs something to do anyway. Yeah, we'll see what carryover it has. Like last week, I've been deloading this week, so whether it had any effect on my training or not, negligible, we'll see. But this coming Monday is the start of prep for the All England, so we'll see how we go with squats on Monday. It might have a temporary negative effect while I'm still getting used to doing this, but I feel like overall, once I'm used to it and once I start progressing it, as long as the same with any training really, as long as I'm smart with it, I feel like it could have a positive effect on my overall strength. So yeah, welcome to the video. What's up everybody? Just got back from the gym. First session of the block, first session of prep. It went quite well. I was thinking the other day, since this time last year, the English Championships last year was on the weekend just gone. And I was thinking, I feel like my training for the last year, I've been sort of coasting. I've been going to the gym and just sort of going through the motions a bit. I'd get up for my top set, and then everything else would just sort of be just existing, if you will. And I feel like it's been like that for like a year. And yeah, I've made progress in that time. I mean, I've competed in that time. I put 27.5 kilos on my total. So, I mean, obviously it's worked to some effect. But yeah, I just feel like I haven't really been going into the gym and taking every set and every rep with as much intent as I could. So that's something that I've really thought about in the last week or so since I've been deloading. You know, my motivation hasn't dropped at all in that time. You know, I love powerlifting. It consumes a massive chunk of my life. And I don't think that's the case, but I do feel like I've kind of not been putting in what I really should be for, you know, the goals that I've got in this sport. So yeah, what I'm looking to do going forward, and especially for prep now, because we're 11 or 10 weeks out, you know, I'm really gonna try and make sure every time I walk into the gym every time I unrack the bar, I'm telling myself that I'm going to move this weight with as much intent as possible. Now that doesn't mean me going in and chasing numbers, because the numbers will come regardless. But, you know, so I still need to be smart with load selection and that kind of stuff. But regardless of the load that's on the bar, I need to be moving it with as much intent as possible. And I feel like that's not something that I've really held myself to the highest standard with for the past year. So that's something that I'll be implementing. So let's talk about today's session. Like I say, it was the first day of the block, first day of prep. We had singles on all 3 lifts. So I started off on squat and I took 195. Probably a bit less than I would normally open the block with, but I'm really focusing on moving with intent. And obviously 195 just it flew up, but I also need to make sure that I'm not getting too ahead of myself by starting blocks too heavy. So yeah, 195, and I had my back downs with 155, 3 sets of 5 there. Moving on to bench. Now something I've always struggled with bench is with working up to a top single. I've found quite often that my technique and stuff after that top single, so on the back down work, my technique has got better. So something that I got from a Steve Novi vid about a month ago now, it was talking about fatigue singles. So something I'm doing with bench is working up to a top rep set, and then hitting my single after it, and then doing my back down sets after that. So I had a top set of 5, which I took 95 kilos, and then I did my single after that with 105. Then my back downs were 85 kilos. So yeah, that obviously it's something new. I'm not used to hitting that many reps before I get to my single, but I feel like it's something that will help me with my technique on my singles. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. And then moving on to deadlifts, worked up to a single there with 245. Again, maybe a tad, I tend to open with around 250 for the block, but I thought, again, same as with squats, keeping it, with plenty of room to progress over the block and not opening too high. Took 245, and then my back down one singular set with 187. So yeah, everything moved very smoothly, as you would expect from the first session of the block. Coming off, it was quite a low intensity deload last week. Everything was deloaded maybe slightly more than I would usually do, but I haven't had a set deload in months at this point, so I was very ready for it. So the weights today did feel maybe a tad heavier than they would usually because of that drop in intensity from last week, but everything moved very quickly, so that's not an issue. I'll get more accustomed to the intensity over the block, so it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. So yeah, I think that's everything for this video. Hope you tune in for the rest of prep, and fingers crossed I actually get a spot at the English Championships. When you see this, the entry will have opened on Friday, just gone, so keep everything crossed for me, and hopefully we get a spot. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm going to tuck into this food, and I'll catch you next week.